Okay, so when you put the peanut butter on, make sure that you're being exceptionally careful with your heat because peanut butter will burn and will burn fast. It's a little bit like butter in that way. It's real easy to burn it. So make sure that you're watching it exceptionally carefully. Okay, and now that that's done, I'm going to have to wash this so that I can melt the coconut oil. But essentially what you do is you mix it all together, making sure all your oat mixture is covered in your sweetener / fat. That's really all peanut butter is. It's a protein type fat. And so you just mix this all together. Now, some people put chocolate in it. I happen to like chocolate in it. But when I pull it out of the oven warm, I drop the chocolate in it then, rather than baking it with the chocolate. You don't have to do that. You can try it in every way. So when I first started doing it, the directions said to let it cool and then drop the chocolate on it when it was cooled off a little bit. I didn't like that. I like it kind of melty. So I tried baking it in there the next time, and that was a little too melty, and I didn't like the way it worked out. So then I started doing it once I pull it out, where it's in the heat of the granola, but not the heat of the oven. And that's how I like it best. And while my family eats this and loves it, I don't make this for them. I love a bowl of cereal, and commercial cereals are very, very sugary and not good for me and my body and my health needs. So I started making granola as a substitute for the sugary cereals that I like. And it's not the same, but I like it. And so I can eat it. Now, every once in a while, I still want Cocoa Krispies, Cocoa Pebbles, whatever. And if I eat them every once in a while, you can get them in one of those little bowls, right? That's meant to be like a to-go thing. And every once in a while, if I'm really craving it and the craving won't go away after this, then I buy the little bowl and I have one little bowl of cereal. And that is not going to spoil my goals, so I can live with it. I hope that makes sense. This is not to shame you for whatever you do. If you're a big cereal eater and it doesn't affect your health, then go for it, because I'm telling you what, I don't care how unhealthy they are, they're delicious. But for me and my goals and my health needs, I just have to be very careful. So I'm going to put this in I put it in a 300-degree oven. That's what I'm trying to say. And then for about 45 minutes, maybe a little less, probably more like 30 minutes, I stir it every 10 minutes so that it doesn't burn. And then when I pull it out, I set it on the stove and I drop the chocolate chips in. So what I'm going to do, I have not even preheated the oven, but I'm going to grab the chocolate chips so I don't forget, because I will forget, and that's no good. Looks like my child's been eating chocolate chips as a snack, and I really truly don't mind. And I happen to have another bag of chocolate chips, so it will be fine. Okay, so this is batch number 1. Now I'm going to do batch number 2, which is going to require a different bowl, because this one has peanut butter. And there are a lot of people out there that are allergic to peanut butter. So if I'm going to do something, I try to make some with and some without major allergens. You'll note that none of this has any kind of egg in it because I can't have egg. So you can rest assured that anything I make won't have egg in it because I don't do that. Anyway, there are a couple things that I wanted to get done today. I'm going to make some bread here shortly. In fact, it'll be after I get this in the oven. I'll be making the bread so that I can have that to sell tomorrow. If you're local, you may see me, but by the time this is posted, you'll have to look for me at another time. But Ellisville Market Days is happening again. It starts this month, which is April, and I think the last one is in August this year. Excuse me, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. I think the last one is in August this year. Okay. And it's on a Saturday once a month. Always around this time of the month, like 16, 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. So we line the streets of downtown Ellisville, and people come and they sell. So the farm and Three Sisters Workshop go together for a booth, and the farm is going to be putting in some granola, some eggs, some bread. And then, of course, Three Sisters Workshop will have our well-known candles, teas, soaps, and wax melts. So we'll be there with bells on bright and early. So I hope that some of you guys come out. And like I said, it's every month until October. So if you can't make it in April, I hope you'll make it in May. Anyway, that bowl is soaking. So we get out another bowl and 3 more cups of oats. Let's see. Eesh. Three cups of oats. Wonder how much of that oat that's left will fit in here. It really doesn't matter because I'm going to probably make some oatmeal cookies because I've been wanting oatmeal cookies. It's like my favorite cookie. Don't judge me too harshly, okay? Anyway, this one is only going to have flaxseed in it because I ran out of everything else. So, no nuts in it because I don't do that. But it's going to have the rest of my flaxseed in it. And then I will have to order more of that. And then it's going to have raisins and cranberries. And then I've got to order more of those as well. Good grief. Come on out of there. There we go. Okay. I will wash these containers. Whew, my nose is itching, y'all. I'm sorry. I will wash all of these containers. And then I'll go back to needing, I don't even remember now, what was it? 1/3 cup of fat and 1/2 cup of sweetener. Okay, so let me put this one up. Now I'm going to use coconut oil for the fat in this one, which I have here. And it's 1/3 cup of fat. Would you believe I don't have a 1/3 cup in here? There it is. This is a 2/3 cup. I knew I had one, just had to find it, but it has the half measurement on the inside. It's one of the things I like about this. Anyway. So I need 1/3 cup, and I'm just going to dig out some coconut oil. Oop, I dropped some. I have no idea why it came out in that particular voice, but it did. So there we are. Okay. And then I'm going to use maple syrup in this one for 1/2 cup. Okay. Now then, we're going to, oof, makes my hand sticky. I don't like it. Now you know. Anyway, we're going to melt it all together. Whew. One more time. This pot gets a lot of use, and it was just a weird decision to buy it many, many years ago. The thing's probably 20 plus years old. We've been married almost 27 years, I think. Yeah, 27 years. I was doing the math in my head. That's why I went quiet. Math not my strong suit. Anyway, we've been married almost, next month it'll be 27 years. And we probably got this within the first year or two that we were married. So, I mean, it's certainly played its part in my cooking days, right? But it's still going strong and I like it. Would I love to have a milk steamer? Absolutely, I would. Do I have to have it? Not even a little. I'm good with what I've got and I'm fine. So, anyway, I guess I just threw that spatula in the sink. So, I guess I'll use this one. Just going to let this kind of melt and mix that up and put it on a cookie sheet. And then once I'm done, I'll get these in the oven and, start on the next thing. So while I'm waiting, I'll be back. Okay, so this is the finished granola. You can see where the chocolate is getting kind of soft. These are a different type of chocolate chips than these. These are made with coconut sugar, and I think they're all right. They definitely have an odd flavor to them, but I think they're going to be fine this way. And so that's what it looks like. Now it just cools off, and once it's cool, I'll mix it all up and put it in containers. Now we're going to get on to the fun of making bread. So my bread recipe is something that I've come up with based on somebody else's recipe. I've changed it up a little. I add a little bit of salt, and I took away some of the oil, and I make a double batch almost every time, especially if I'm going to sell it. So what I'm going to make today to sell is cheddar bread and then cheddar jalapeno bread, and I'm going to make 4 loaves of each. If they don't sell, we eat them, so it's not a problem. My daughter is finally back, wayward child. She's been at my mom's helping my mom and dad all week, and I'm so grateful to God that she has the ability to do that and spend that time with her grandparents. But I'm glad she's back too, because I've almost missed her some this week, but almost. It's been quieter than normal, and she's really, really not a loud kid, so I can't explain that. Anyway, on to the bread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some lukewarm water, and what that means is, if you've had children, you'll understand when you test a bottle on your wrist, you want the water to be about as warm as you would want the bottle to be. That's going to activate the yeast. The sugar is going to feed the yeast, and so you mix that all up, and that's how you start the bread. So that's where we're at now. Okay, so basically I'm going to wait on that to bloom, and I'm going to take the camera and show you what that means, what it looks like when it's bloomed. This is not a difficult recipe, and if I can recall to do so, I will put it on my blog, and we will link that in the description below. My social media gal just got back, and she's got her work cut out for her with this video, right? So I hope you've enjoyed it now that you've watched it. Anyway, I'm going to grab a couple of big bowls because that's what I put the dough to rise in. And then I have to shred up the cheese and grab the jalapenos. And so it's kind of a dance when I do this, but I've got it pretty much down to a science. The yeast has bloomed, and you can see that in the difference between the edges right there and this. So all of this is called the bloom. So next up, we add the rest of the ingredients and mix. Okay, so my big plans were cinnamon buns, more bread, but due to health concerns currently, because of the level of pain I'm in and the fact that I have a show first thing in the morning, I'm going to scratch both of those for today. If I feel good by the time I get home tomorrow, I might do them then, or I might do them Sunday when I have nothing better to do but enjoy myself. Now, while I'm doing that, I'm also taking off this apron, even though I'm still going to need an apron, because the dog licked the flour and that's gross. So recording like this all day is killing the battery of my phone, but I am having a little granola like it's cereal. And I'm going to sit down on the heating pad. All the bread kills my back, and I've got to be good for tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing a lot of sitting here for at least an hour. But when I'm done with that, I'm going to take the clothes down, and that'll probably wind up this video. Okay, so I got some rest in. My back kind of finally fixed itself a little, and now the bread is doubled in size. So that means that we pull down bread pans and get to work forming bread. Now I'm going to spray these. I don't use like no stick spray all that often, but my oil spray bottle that I had broke. And so I use the nonstick spray when making bread. If I'm going to make some like baked goods or something, I will use the nonstick spray. So I'm going to grab that out of my pantry really fast. If I can find it, here it is. Then I'm going to, I have two different types of bread pans. They're two different brands. This one is Pyrex and it's kind of squarish looking. And then these are Anchor Hocking. So I use one set for one type of bread and the other set for the other type of bread. So I'm going to do the one set first. Oh, my nose is itching today. Daughter and husband are outside working on a fenced-in spot for the dogs because they're a little crazy and they like to dig holes. And by they, I mean the one dog digs holes and the other one just follows suit because, you know, he's a follower. This stuff smells very strongly. Don't love it, but here we are. Oof. Anyway, okay. So the first batch that we're going to do, let me pull out some flour. Okay. So I take and I sprinkle a little flour here. Ooh, I'm going to turn y'all a little bit so you can see better. There we go. Ignore the mess now. Don't come at me for the mess. So when this was put in here, it was definitely not this big. Ooh. And me and my hair's always falling out. Left a hair on top. Ew. Okay. Well, we got it off. Anyway, so you punch it down and it deflates. And frankly, that is my favorite part of making bread. Then you dump it out onto a floured work surface and I roll it in the flour so that it doesn't stick too much. Then I knead it just a little bit. Kind of brings the dough together. And then I roll it up. This is a lot of dough. And I kind of flatten it out. And so essentially what I'm going to do, I think I put my dough scraper already in there. So I'm basically just going to half it. And then half it again. And that's going to make 4 loaves. Okay. Now I'll pull a little more flour. Oh, this is why I normally do this with a bench scraper. Now you know. Okay, so basically, I'm going to knead this until it's all pulled together. And then I'm going to roll it all up like this and pull it to sort of seal the edges. And then drop it. And I'm going to do that over and over. Until the 4 loaves are done. And then I'm going to do it with the other dough. Now, these will have to rise for another half an hour, which is going to give me just enough time to go out and get the laundry off the line. And see how it sort of seals the bottom up. I don't know if you could really see that, but okay. Now these 4 will go over here and get covered. Got a lot of dishes to catch up on now. We just take that same towel and throw it across them. And I do that for multiple reasons. Number one, it helps prevent it from forming a crust. And nobody wants crusty bread before it's time, right? The other reason is this is a farm. There are flies and gnats and all sorts of things in my house. And I don't want any of those things to land on bread. This is the jalapeno bread. If I were to be honest with you, I'd tell you this is my best-selling bread. Don't understand it because it's not my favorite, but, you know, give the people what they want, right? I really should have just found my bench scraper, but that's all right. I didn't spray the other pans either, did I? Anyway, this is definitely my bestseller. People love jalapeno cheddar bread, including my children and my husband. Like I said, I don't care for jalapenos, so I make it and don't eat it. And that's okay with me. Most of the cooking I do with them in mind anyway, so it's fine. Okay, now we're going to get these other 2 sprayed. I don't love this particular brand. Anyway, Now I'm going to do the same thing with these. Ooh. Some of the flaxseed is still, I washed the counter twice, and some of the flaxseed is still on the counter. It keeps getting picked up by the dough. Anyway, so baking bread feels huge until you do it. And the reason that I have stuck with it for all this time that I've been doing this, and I've been bread baking and selling bread that I've made as a side business now for probably about 12 years, maybe longer. Anyway, without being able to give you an exact date, the reason I keep coming back to it is because I find it super relaxing. The kneading of the dough, the punching of the dough, you get a lot of aggression out, you know. What is it? The Minnesota nice feelings that Amber always talks about on her channels. Well, these are the Southern polite feelings that sometimes you don't necessarily want. Well, you can do something about them with your bread dough. And I find it very helpful to be able to release a little aggression via bread dough. Now, as always, I have to grab one more towel so that they are all covered. Okay, there. Now, that is that for bread baking until they double in size. I'm going to score the tops, pop them in the oven, and then they bake for 20 to 30 minutes, depending. I'll pull them out, cool them off, so be sure to stay to the end to see the final product there. Okay, so it's very windy, but it's also very sunny today. And here are all of the things. Now, I took down some unmentionables that you didn't need to see already. But sheets, towels, all about to come down. So here we go. Ooh. So if you've never line dried anything before, you won't know this, but things dried on a clothesline are particularly stiff fibered once they're dry. And some people don't like that in their towels. I didn't when I was young. But now it doesn't bother me at all. It smells cleaner and fresher, and I really like that part. So the stiffness doesn't bother me like it used to. Ooh. Okay. Shove all that down in there. And oops. That happens a lot. I drop clothespins a lot. That one fell. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now we can take down these sheets and pillowcases, and we can be done with laundry for today, which sounds quite lovely to me. Always a good day when you're done with laundry, right? I think so. Anyway, do you have a laundry routine in your house? I would love to hear from you about that. Tell me more about your laundry routine at your house in the comments below. And I will do a shout out for somebody with the coolest comment or the coolest routine in my next video. My goal is to get to a point where I can do giveaways. I'm not quite there yet. So tell your friends and family to subscribe and support and such so that we can get to a point where we can do giveaways, because that would be awfully cool, I think. Okay. Now we take down, oh, I'm going to hit myself in the head one day with this thing. Now we take down this, set it right on top, and we bring it all inside. So, like I said, here, I'm going to back up a little, get out of the sun. Oh, that's so much better. Anyway, like I said, stick around to the end of this video so that you can see the finished product on both breads. And thanks for joining us here. We're so glad that you hung around for this crazy long video and met cats and dogs and, you know, the laundry line named Lenny. So anyway, from our farmhouse to wherever it is that you call home, thanks for joining us and have a lovely, blessed day. Bye, y'all.